What's going on, you guys? This is Trent here at Rexburg Motorsports, here to do another machine walk around with you. Now, the snow is here. Snowmobile season has started, and this first walk around that we're going to do on the snowmobiles is touching base on one that will reach out to a lot of you riders out there that are just getting into the sport or looking for something that's really light and flickable to learn the skills on. Now, the big thing with this machine is you've got to look yourself in the mirror and you got to ask yourself, what kind of rider are you? How long have you been doing it? And what is your goal with snowmobiling? With the 600, I'll tell you, it's not a sled for everybody. It doesn't have the big, huge horsepower numbers of the 800s and the 850s. But what it does have is a light, nimble feel and enough power to get you around, but also not too much power to intimidate you. So if you're a new rider that's just looking to learn the ropes, if you're a rider that's been riding for a little bit and you haven't quite found your groove, your comfort, and your confidence yet, or if you're an older rider that, you're not as crazy as you once were, but you still love to play in the backcountry, the 600 is an awesome option. So today, we are going over the Skidoo Summit SP 600R. Now, this was an all-new machine last year. Last year, Skidoo put it on the Gen 4 chassis that the 850 had been on since 2017. They also redid the entire motor. The new motor they built from the ground up so that it could work with their new start system. So way cool stuff, way cool technology here on this 600. So I'm going to show you a few of the ins and outs of this machine that make it an awesome option. So let's start with this motor. This 600 was all new last year, and they made some big changes to it. So Skidoo, they started over, but going from the 600HO to the 600R, the 600R is 5 cc's bigger. So the displacement now is 599. Now adding that 5 cc's, Skidoo was also able to pull out 5 more horsepower from this motor. So this motor right here is at 125 horsepower. So way strong for a 600. It's awesome option. Again, 125 horse is a lot of power, especially when you look at sleds of old. Now, it doesn't compare to the 165 horsepower from the 800 class, but again, a lot of power to play with and a lot of stuff to get you in and out of the backcountry. Now, one of the main focuses with the 600, as always with the 600 class, is reliability. The 600 motors tend to hold up a little bit better than their bigger brothers in the 800 class. And so Skidoo, when they were building this motor, really put a lot of emphasis on how reliable this motor was going to be and how efficient it was going to be. You're going to go longer on a tank of fuel, and you're going to go longer between top-end rebuilds. So that's an awesome thing too. If you're looking for a machine that you can keep for a good long while and not have to worry about rebuilding it, the 600s are an awesome option for that. Now, as far as the Gen 4 chassis goes, when you mate this Gen 4 chassis to the T-Motion suspension that Skidoo's been running for quite a while, you get a chassis that is so flickable. Now with the 600 is only 5 pounds lighter than the 850, but man, when you ride them back to back, you wouldn't think that it was only a 5-pound difference. The rotating mass of the motor has a lot to do with that. The crank is a lot smaller on the 600, and so with that rotating mass of that crank spinning around and around, you've got a lot less gyroscopic forces on this sled. So this sled, as you're throwing it from side to side, taking advantage of this awesome Gen 4 chassis and the T-Motion suspension, it feels way light. It'll go wherever you want it to go. In fact, with the Skidoos, pretty much all you have to do is think about which direction you want to go in, and you'll go that direction. In fact, I've got an older customer that comes in here quite often. His last year was the first year on the Gen 4. And with that Gen 4 chassis, he said he was climbing up a chute. And he said that as he was climbing up this chute, he was trying to decide if he wanted to go to the left of the tree or to the right of a tree. And he was trying to decide as he climbed up. And he got up to the top, decided to go left. And when he came back down to the bottom, all of his buddies were laughing at him. And he's like, what are you laughing at? And he says, well, what were you thinking about when you were climbing that hill? And he says, oh, I was just trying to decide which way to go. And he says, look at your track. And he looks up at his track, and it's just this big S curve all the way up to the top. And he was laughing pretty hard at that. He says, all I was doing was just trying to think of which direction I wanted to go at, and the Skidoo was moving for me. The Skidoos are super tippy. You know, really, we say to customers all the time that, you know, with the Skidoo, all you have to do is counter steer and shift a butt cheek, and you'll make those direction changes that you want. And that's definitely true. You know, the Skidoo will lay over, in my opinion, easier than anything. Now, the big thing, though, is finding that balance point is a little bit harder. You know, and so you'll put less effort into your initial movement, but it's a little bit harder to find that tipping point and find that balance point for you. But it's something that's awesome learning tool. For those younger riders or newer riders, you know, trying to figure out how to hold a side hill or trying to figure out how to, you know, maneuver the sled in the snow, this is a huge advantage. It's very, very fun to ride. So this particular 600 that I'm showing you today has actually got the 146 track with the 2.5-inch lugs. Now, Skidoo, they show that they've got a lot of confidence in this motor in that they not only throw this with the 146, but they also give you two options with the 154 track. They put a 154 with the 3-inch lugs on this machine. How awesome is that? You know, you've got to have a lot of power to handle the grip that 3-inch lugs is going to give you. And I'll tell you, this 600 truly is up to the challenge. So if you're looking to play around in the deep powder, and that 154 with the 3-inch lugs is going to take you just about wherever you want and give you tons of grip. If you don't do a whole lot of powder or you're a 50-50 split, you do 50-50 on the trails and on the powder, the 2.5 is an awesome track and it's very well rounded. The 2.5 is going to give you tons of grip in the snow, but it's not going to give you a super bumpy, chattery ride on the trail. So, you know, Skidoo gives you some awesome options with this 600 to make it from anything from, you know, a beginner trail sled all the way to, you know, let's go hit some deep, steep, and fun stuff. Now, earlier I talked about the start options being the shot. So let's kind of go into that just a little bit. Skidoo has 3 starting systems on these snowmobiles right now, and they're all awesome options. So the first one is going to be just your basic pull start. So your basic pull start, you're just going to be cranking it every time. And I'll tell you, you know, even if you're looking to go that route, you'll save you some money, save you some weight. But I'll tell you, this 600 pulls really easy. So, you know, not something to shy away from. Then they've got a full electric start model. The electric start model is going to just have just the button. There's no backup pull start. They do have a backup pull start system that they sell. And then you've got the shot start. Now the shot start is really cool because you get the electric start kind of capabilities, if you will, with not having to work for it and not have to add that extra weight. So what the shot start is the shot start is a pull start model, but you only have to pull it the first time of the morning. So you'll pull start it, you'll ride it. As you ride it, the magneto on the motor is actually charging an ultra capacitor. Now this ultra capacitor holds a charge for not very long, but it holds a charge. And what it does is as soon as you shut it off, after you've been riding it for a little bit, if you shut it off, you go to start it, all you have to do is you have to push this little shot button. And what it does is that capacitor charges the flywheel to spin the flywheel. So it starts the motor up for you. No electric start motor, no battery. So you're getting electric start benefits for 15 pounds less. So way cool option. Now each step does have a little different price point. The pull start is the cheapest, then it goes electric start, and then it goes shot start. So we've got a couple. This one right here is actually a shot start system, and it is so cool. I'll tell you, it's totally weird pushing that button and starting it and not hearing a motor, you know, crank over, nothing. It just, you hold the button and all of a sudden it's running. It's pretty cool. Skidoo has got some awesome options here. We've got their 600s, we've got their 850s. You know, we'd love to show you these machines. Come on into Rexburg Motorsports or check us out at rexburgmotorsports.com. We'd love to get you out onto the snow this season on one of these awesome Gen 4 Skidoos. We do also here at Rexburg Motorsports carry Polaris and Yamaha. So, any option that you want to check out to get out on the snow, we've got you. Thanks so much for watching these videos, and if you could, hit that subscribe button. Stay up to date with all things Rexburg Motorsports, and in the comments below, if you'd like, go ahead and leave some options on what you'd like to see get reviewed. Here in the next little while, we're going to likely hit the Polaris snowmobiles up, and we've got a couple other little things in the works, but we'd love to hear from you, see what you'd like to see reviewed. But thanks again so much, and we'll talk to you all later. Hopefully we see you out on the hills, right?